Hello, everyone. Welcome in. How is everyone today? Hope everybody is having an excellent day. Oh, my goodness. What's going on, everyone? Welcome in. Welcome in. Come on in. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, we got a new... Guys, we got a new look. We got a new thumbnail. We got new camera views. We got a whole new thing we're doing tonight. We got a whole new thing we're doing tonight. Nope, that's not what I wanted. We can get rid of that. There we go. I need this because I'm going to move this down a little bit. And I'm going to shrink it a little bit. Leave it up there and shrink it. Yeah, let's leave it up there and shrink it a little bit. We're just doing things a little bit different tonight. We're just doing things a little bit different tonight. All right. So I'm letting you know, okay. This is not going to be like you're used to seeing me, okay? And so I'm not trying to hide that from anybody. So yeah, just thought I'd let you know. This is, as you can see, I don't have a phone number up. That's on purpose. Okay. I don't have a phone number up. All right. So we're gonna do things a little bit different. Thank you, Pink Doll. We're gonna have some fun. Cause again, y'all. Oh shoot, I just realized I don't have my iPad. That's okay. I don't even need my iPad today. I look serious. Should I be? Am I? How can I look more serious? No one's in trouble. No one's in trouble. I don't know what I just did. How did I messed up my headset this bad though? Oh my goodness, what did I do here? You know, so in case you haven't noticed, the guests have been fewer and further between. And the guests that I do get are literally walking thumbs. So tonight, we're just not going to talk to them. We're going to hang out and talk about some other stuff. I've been wanting to practice for my podcast anyway. So what we're going to do is I have a few topics I have lined up. I have some videos to go through. We're going to go through some news. We're going to go through some current events. We're going to go through some videos. We're going to discuss some of the things that have been going on this week. And then at the end, I will, at the end, we will do a Q&A. Does that sound good to y'all? Just let you know if it doesn't sound good to y'all, and you decide to leave, that's totally cool with me. All right, because I'm doing it anyway, whether you like it or not. Even though Chase is in the chat, and Chase thinks that like if I don't do what he likes, he'll leave and I'll care. I don't. I'm actually pretty cool with Chase leaving. Actually, Chase leaving actually kind of makes this a little bit better for me, to be completely honest with you. If you want to be fully honest, that was an added plus that I didn't think I was going to get. Yeah, that was an added plus. I didn't even consider the positive of Chase not being here too. So that's pretty cool. That sounds like a win-win. I don't have to talk to Maga or Chase. Sounds like a plus to me. So I'm just giving a little second. Thanks, Corey. I'm just giving you another little second to get a few more people in here, kind of load this thing up and get it started. And after that, we'll get after it. Sound good? I might be fumbling around a little bit. I have a pretty general order of how I want to go about this. So we're just going to kind of wing it. You guys with me to wing it? You guys with me to wing it? We're going to wing it tonight. Okay? We're just going to wing it tonight. Actually, you know what I'm even going to do? Check this out. I didn't even think about this. Watch. I'm going to unplug my headset because I don't even need it. Oh, no, I will need it. Shoot, I forgot. I will need it. Undo that. I will need it. I will need it. That's actually a lie. That's actually a lie. I take that back literally immediately. I take that back so quickly. I turned up the volume for you guys just a bit. I turned it up just a bit. Just a little bit. All right. But just like always, y'all, please make sure you guys hit the follow and subscribe button if you're new here. Keep liking the live. If you're in the YouTube side, of course, just hit that like button. And if you're on TikTok, please keep hitting the like button. And then at the end, we'll do some Q&A. We'll have some conversations, especially if you guys have any that come through Super Chat or any of those other type of things, either in between topics or either in between topics or at the end. We'll go through some questions about the subjects, some general questions if you haven't. We'll actually start with a first quick question while everybody's getting in here. And it's Mannix who said, thank you so much for the Super Chat, by the way. He said, did you see Newsom's in memoriam for Christy? No, I have not. I am sure it is great, but if you remind me towards the end of the live, I will pull it up. and we'll all watch it together. We will pull it up and we will watch it together. I do have to fix this real quick though. Sorry, y'all. I just saw something I didn't like, so this can go way up here since there's nothing up here. There we go. That might be too high. Is that too high? We'll go there. There we go. That's a lot better. That's a lot better. Thank you so much. And Tadit said, Gnome's career is alive as every dog in her book. Trump wanted her as VP at first. Yeah. Yeah. Would she have been worse than JD Vance? That's a great question. I think that might be the question of the day. Would she actually be worse than JD Vance? Would she actually? Who knows? Okay. I'm not sure she would be worse. I'm not sure she would be worse, to be completely honest with you. JD Vance is like smart and evil, and Chrissy Gnome is just dumb. I'll take dumb all day, to be completely honest with you. But thank you so much, Tad. I appreciate that. All right. Well, welcome in, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining in on the show. We are going to get this started off talking about the big news today, and that is that Christy Gnome is no more. As someone said just a moment ago, she's as gone as Cricket. Poor Cricket. We need to all put Cricket in our memories as he's gone for nothing. He's gone for nothing. So, if you didn't get to see why Christy Gnome is gone, we're going to go through some of that, right? We're also going to discuss Marco Rubio and some of his, we'll call it misgivings when it comes to Iran. And we're going to do a little bit of discussion on the Texas Senate race and how that played out with James Tallarico and Jasmine Crockett. And so we're going to go through those three things, plus I'm sure many more as we start to go through and to discuss things as we go forward. But thank you guys so much for being here, and welcome to the show. In case you haven't heard, Christy Gnome is gone, and she is supposed to be being replaced with she's supposed to be being replaced with Senator Mullen from Oklahoma. I believe, what's his name? It's like John Wayne Mullen or Wayne John. I don't know. There's two first names in there involved. I'm like 90% sure. Mark Wayne. He's supposed to be being replaced by Mark Wayne Mullen out of Oklahoma. Now, he still has to get confirmed by the Senate. I know that Donald Trump just said that he would be starting on April 1st. But even though Donald Trump has forgotten that the Senate exists, and I think most of the Senate has forgotten the Senate exists, he still does have to get confirmed. Now, I am positive he will get confirmed, because if Christy Gnome got confirmed, then I don't see how Mark Wayne Mullins would possibly not get confirmed, right? The Senate has pretty much given up any hope or try. But I do want to point out one good thing, and because he will be confirmed, I think it's going to be a great opportunity for a lot of us to actually see how he will actually handle ICE. I think a lot of the things that have actually come up, right, with ICE in Minneapolis, with Alex Preddy, with Christy Gnome, with you know, the many people that have been detained wrongfully, all of the lawsuits, I think all of that will really get put in the open because he has to speak in front of Senate. Now, I know that they are professional dodgers, but in case you haven't seen his recent video where he is talking about Iran, he's not exactly the best at speaking on his feet. So, in case you haven't seen that, here's the video of Mark Wayne Mullins. I'm going to keep calling him John Wayne. I don't know why. This is the video of Mark Wayne Mullen talking about after he comes out of the classified brief talking about Iran. So If you haven't seen this, this shows just how, on his feet he is, to be completely honest with you.
Measures being taken not to eliminate other possible alternatives to leadership?
This is war, and we're taking out the threat.
I want to pause there. I just wanted to explain the words he just said. They said, has been any talk about anything? And these are his words.
Alternatives to leadership?
This is war, and we're taking out the threat. And if you're part of the threat, then you're a target.
You'll concede this is war.
We haven't declared war. They declared war on us, but we haven't.
War, Secretary Hicks said
Senator,
we haven't declared.
Just now, you said this is war.
They've called it war.
They've called it war. What I was saying. Okay, well, that was a misspoke. What I was saying
that was a misspoke. That was a misspoke. So he comes out, says it's war, then comes out and immediately says, I don't know what you're talking about. Nobody's declared war. And then when he's told, no, actually, you said war, right? And this is a misspoke. I'm going to play it again.
Alternatives to leadership?
This is war, and we're taking out the threat. And if you're part of the threat, then you're a target.
You'll concede this is war.
We haven't declared war. They declared war on us, but we haven't.
War, Secretary Hicks said
Senator,
we haven't declared.
Just now, you said this is war.
They've called it war.
They've called it war. What I was saying. Okay, well, that was a misspoke. What I was saying that they've declared war on us, but war is ugly. It always has been ugly. But we're taking out a regime that's been trying to attack us for quite some time.
Now, this video came out, and it was right after this that Donald Trump actually announced that was what he was going to do. He announced at that point, he said, that's when he came out and said, oh, Mark Wayne Mullen, that's going to be my guy. And I believe that's really because, right? I believe that's really because Donald Trump's memory is just so bad at this point that he can only concentrate on things that are moving in front of him, right? This video has been all over the news, so everyone's been talking about him. Fox News has been talking about him. And then all of a sudden, he's just like, you know what? I need a replacement for Kristi Noem, so that's the guy. So when you see these politicians, especially the right-wing politicians, right? When you see these right-wing politicians saying all of this crazy stuff or doing all these things, and you're like, who's believing this stuff, right? Who's responding positively to these absolutely insane statements that are going on? The correct answer is Donald Trump. Donald Trump watches this insane stuff. Donald Trump watches these people spin around in circles, telling all of these lies to try to appease him, to try to pretzel their ways into all of the things he's saying. And when Donald Trump stops and he thinks about who to put in positions of power, these are the type of people that he chooses, okay? But let me be very clear, all right? This guy, Mark Wayne Mullins, he's not going to be any better than Kristi Noem, okay? I would put him probably just slightly better than Greg Bovino. Maybe just slightly better than Greg Bovino, okay? This guy has a temper, okay? In case you didn't know anything about him, he is an ex-MMA fighter, right? And he's such an ex-MMA fighter that he decided that he was going to try to showcase that as a junior senator in the Senate. So remember, this is a senator, okay? A sitting senator, all right? And this is his reaction talking about a union leader in a Senate committee, all right? Let's watch this.
Will be. Quit the tough guy act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me, any place, anytime, cowboy. Sir, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big
Oh,
guy.
stop it.
Is that your solution every
Hold
problem?
it. No, sit down. Sit down. Okay. You know, you're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Active.
Oh, okay.
Sit down, please.
All right.
Can I respond, Mr.
Hold
Chairman?
it. Hold it. If
Hold
we
on.
can't,
This
no,
is
I have the
what
mic.
he said.
I'm sorry.
This is
Hold
what
it.
he said.
This is a sitting U.S. senator, the person who is now in charge of an enforcement agency that is the size of the IDF. The person who out loud read and challenged the guy to a fight in the floor. Bernie Sanders, I feel the worst for Bernie Sanders, right? Bernie has to sit there and try to play, I don't know, dad to a couple of toddlers. That's the only way I can describe it, right?
Read what the last one said. It said, greedy CEO who pretends like he's working pretty hard and long hours, pretends like he's self-made. What a clown. Fraud. Always has been.
Oh no, somebody called me a name, guys. Guys, did you hear it? Somebody called me a name. Oh my goodness. Somebody called me a name. I can't believe it. Let's fisticuffs on the Senate floor. All right. This guy's in charge of ICE now.
Will be.
In charge of Customs and Border Protection, or will be soon.
Act and these Senate hearings. You know where to find me. Any place, anytime, cowboy. Sir, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big
Oh,
guy.
oh, stop it.
Is that your
All right.
solution every
Hold
problem?
it. No, no, sit down. Sit down. Okay, you know, you're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Active.
Oh, okay.
Sit down, please.
All right.
That is crazy. So if you had any like qualms and you were like, man, maybe Kristi Noem is gone. Maybe we're gonna, maybe we're gonna finally do better for this nation. You would be incredibly wrong. Absolutely incredibly wrong. Okay. This guy, honestly, might actually be worse. And I'm hoping he's not, but he could actually honestly be worse. All right. So just know that that's what you're getting into. And none of the senators in the Senate, none of them are going to see this. None of them are going to go, oh, well, with all of this information that we have, we shouldn't be nominating this guy to lead this very tense situation, this situation that has obviously, come to a head, like in the United States, this group of people that are being hated by the American citizens. None of them are going to do that. They're all just going to confirm him, because I think that our Congress has completely forgotten that they were an equal part of government. I believe they have actually completely forgotten that. Now, you might wonder, why the sudden change? Why all of a sudden did Donald Trump decide that Kristi Noem was not the person for the job? There's a few reasons for that, okay? First of all, because she's not. We can definitely start with that. First of all, because she's not. All right. It actually goes to a singular part, right, of the latest hearings, the latest Senate hearings that Kristi Noem has been going through. She has been not doing great in them. All right. But there's two parts I want to play for this. All right. And so hopefully, if you guys haven't seen this, we're going to go through some of the Tom Tillis interview, because the Tom Tillis interview is awesome. And then we're going to go through the Kennedy interview, because I think both of those play a huge drastic part in why Kristi Noem is gone. And maybe, honestly, maybe the Tom Tillis one didn't even have, maybe he didn't even have anything to do with it. Maybe not. All right. But it sure made her look real bad. I'll tell you that much. And Donald Trump does not like to look bad. All right. If you haven't seen this yet, congratulations. You're about to see so much fun. If you have already seen this, watch it again. It's pretty awesome. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Noem, thank you for being here. I'm really glad that a lot of my Republican colleagues talked about the disaster that Biden and Mayorkas, your predecessor, created. It was absurd. You heard the things from Senator Brett.
By the way, if you don't know about Senator Tillis, he's a Republican, by the way. Okay? Tillis is a Republican. This is not a Democrat that's going through this. This is a Republican. All right? Just wanted to make sure you guys understood that. All right?
People that came over here who themselves were traumatized by the very people who then come to this country and traumatize American citizens. You heard Senator Schmidt saying the same thing. A lot of us are very frustrated with the disaster that President Biden left behind and a failed DHS. It's why I'm angry, and it's why I've been critical of you, Secretary Noem, because we're missing an opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the reasons President Trump won a year and a half ago is because people were sick and tired of a Democratic administration's open border policy and allowing millions of people to come to this country, 1.7 million called gotaways. We don't even know where they are, but we know when you pay a premium to a cartel to get them into this country, they're bad people.
So that is absolutely not true, by the way. And I just want to jump in and say that what he just said there is unequivocally not true. Okay, you 100% can be a really good person in a desperate situation and pay the cartel to move you across a border. Okay, so let's not pretend for a second that what he just said was true. But I think it's important to actually play that part, right? I think it's actually important because it shows that when she goes in on him and when he goes in on her, that this is not some Democrat just running his mouth. This is a Republican, all right? This is a full-on Republican.
Now, why have I been critical of Secretary Noem? Because I don't think we're focusing on, we have limited resources. ICE can't be everywhere at once. There's very few people in Capitol Hill that support law enforcement more than me, including the sworn ICE officers. In fact, I've just been told, fortunately, in about a week and a half, we're going to get a plaque on the wall over the Capitol thanking the Capitol police officers and all the agencies that responded on January 6th. All those thugs have actually been pardoned, and yet we haven't thanked the Capitol police officers for their work here. So when I say I'm unapologetically pro-law enforcement, you can count in every single sworn officer in Homeland Security. So why am I disappointed with Secretary Noem?
It's funny that he talks about the Capitol, the January 6th and the Capitol rioters because, you know, just thought I'd throw it out there. Like all of these senators, like on the Republican side, they're so weak, right? They only have the cojones to stand up for their actual beliefs after they've already decided they're retiring, right? After they're already retiring, after they don't have anything to lose, they're so scared up to them. But anyways, I digress.
Because we're not going after enough people who did this damage at the expense of running numbers that Stephen Miller wants out of the White House. We just want numbers. We want 1,000 a day, 6,000 a day, 9,000 a day because numbers matter, right? No, they don't matter. Quality matters, not quantity, quality. And what we've seen is a disaster. Under your leadership, Ms. Noem, a disaster. What we've seen is innocent people getting detained that turn out are American citizens. I could talk about the culture that's been created here with Stephen Miller aiding and abetting. I heard first reports that he was the one that said it was a domestic terrorist situation where 2 people lost their lives in Minneapolis. I've heard that report. Maybe you can refute it. I don't know that we'll have time for you to respond because I'm giving you a performance evaluation here. I'm not looking for a response. And I'm saying, Ms. Noem, that time after time after time I've been disappointed. But before I get back to looking at the vicious people that did this damage to these families, I want to talk a minute about FEMA. You have a policy right now that anything over $100,000 has to go through your desk for approval. I asked my staff, because I'm a management consultant, I don't try to do cheap shots in here, but the facts do not lie. This is your administration for FEMA response. This is President Trump's first administration. Which one would you like to have? If you're a state that has a $60 billion.
So if you guys haven't already seen this chart, okay, if you haven't already seen this chart, all right, and it might be kind of hard for you all to see on the screen, okay? This giant red line is her, right? This is money that's due out to people that need FEMA assistance, right? As you can see, if you see this blue line right here, this dark blue line was actually Donald Trump's first administration, all right? And that sporadic one, all right, is under Kristi Noem, right? Because people are hurting, all right? People, especially in Western North Carolina, are hurting really bad, all right? And yeah, that face is wild, isn't it? That dude's angry, bro. But he should be angry. I'm happy he's angry. I'm finally happy that a Republican is actually angry at any of this crap, to be completely honest with you.
$1 billion disaster. Your biggest disaster in South Dakota that I can tell that when you were an elected official was about $500 million. So 1/100th of this single storm where thousands of people are hurting in North Carolina and you're just barely catching up. This is what competent FEMA leadership looks like. This is what incompetent FEMA leadership looks like. And people are hurting in Western North Carolina from the most significant storm they've ever experienced. This is what we need more of. I'm convinced you can't do it. If you're requesting a review of $100,000 and up, then it begs the question, why? Why would you be involved in that? Why would that be a policy? And in a minute, I'll ask about some people that are involved, some special government employees. Why are they involved in it? Thank you.
Senator,
No.
that 100
You can finish
that $100,000
after my 10
only
minutes
had
are
to
done,
do.
and I will hold the clock until I finish.
Okay.
The bottom line is,
he said, you can shut it, bro. This is a one-way conversation and you were not invited. Okay? This is a one-way conversation and you were not invited. All right? So you can just all right? You can go ahead and hold that on, okay? You've made enough comments and we don't need to hear anything about that. All right. Yo, if you guys do me a favor, we're going to keep going on this video, but if you guys could please hit that like button, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, support the live, send daily heart me's or any type of gifts or anything like that. I want to be able to keep doing this type of platform. I want to be able to do it, but I can only do it if you guys support and help push the live out and help letting everyone know that you like it here and you want to be here. So please chat and all that sort of stuff. I really, really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
as I've done the analysis. And you can say whatever you want to. I've worked with a Democrat governor. I've worked with a Republican governor. I've worked with fiscal research. We have people contacting my office now to get the information to better understand the failure of this department. You failed at FEMA, and in fact, if I get to it, actually, why don't I cover this right now? The Homeland Security Act of 2002 expressly prohibits the Secretary of Homeland Security from restricting or diverting FEMA resources from the agency's mission. Based on your disaster response, the chart that I just showed you, I have reason to believe that you're violating the law, either knowingly or
I actually want to repeat that part real quick because it's actually really important. It doesn't get all the like notoriety that a lot of the rest of the stuff gets, but it actually is important. So let me just go back for a quick second.
Agency's mission. Based on your disaster response, the chart that I just showed you, I have reason to believe that you're violating the law, either knowingly or unknowingly. So I'll be asking.
All right, sorry, I didn't go back far enough.
The Secretary of Homeland Security from restricting or diverting FEMA resources. The Homeland Security Act of 2002 expressly prohibits the Secretary of Homeland Security from restricting or diverting FEMA resources from the agency's mission. Based on your disaster response, the chart that I just showed you, I have reason to believe that you're violating the law, either knowingly or unknowingly.
So the reason why I wanted to go back and actually talk about that part, because do you remember under the Biden administration? Under the Biden administration, they kept claiming, right, that the Biden administration was taking money from disaster relief to go to undocumented immigrants. That was not true, okay? That was in no way true. They were not doing that, all right? There is other funds under FEMA that does not come from disaster relief that goes specifically to those type of things, but they were not diverting funds. Actually, in Donald Trump's first term, they were actually diverting funds away from disaster relief. Okay. But he's actually calling her on doing what they actually claimed that Biden was doing the entire time. All right. That is what Tom Tillis is saying. He's saying that the thing that they claimed Biden was doing, which was taking money away from disaster relief, that she's actually doing that in violation of the law.
So I'll be asking and getting a submission to the record, submitting a question for the record, what the total amount of FEMA reimbursements are currently being held by DHS, awaiting for final approval. Held by DHS, awaiting for final approval for an agency that you should not be obstructing the disbursement on. I'm going to give you time to answer to it under penalty of perjury so that we can get it right. Now, going back to Minneapolis, why can't we just say we made a mistake? I will ask you one question, if you can just give me a quick response. Who does Tom Homan work for? You or the president?
The president.
Okay. Why is that? Because I believe the president recognized that you weren't getting it done in Minneapolis, and you're putting us further away from pointing to this. We're beginning to get the American people to think that deporting people is wrong. It's the exact opposite. The way you're going about deporting them is wrong. The fact that you can't admit to a mistake, which looks like under investigation, is going to prove that Miss Good and Mr. Pretty probably should not have been shot in the face and in the back. Law enforcement needs to learn from that. You don't protect them by not looking after the facts. Not only should the FBI be investigating it, but every single law enforcement agency in that jurisdiction should be invited to it. So our law enforcement officers do not have this pall cast upon them.
And I want to make that, like, hold on that point for just a second, because that point is so important, right? Like, and you guys who have been following me for a long time, who watch a lot of my debates, who watch a lot of my conversations that I have, we always hear that same argument, don't we? We always hear that same argument, right? Oh, you didn't care about when so-and-so was deporting people, is that this person was deporting people, that person was deporting. Yes, we did. Okay. But how we do things matters, right? How we do things in this country matters. All right. And you're right. Like literally, oh, sorry, you're right. He's right, right? He's right when he says, literally, Donald Trump had immigration, right? Immigration was the one thing that Donald Trump had, right? And he has literally gotten so bad, right, that the majority of people in the United States don't even like Donald Trump for immigration. He's completely underwater on immigration, right? Just because of how they're doing things, and not only how they're doing things, but their failure to be able to admit mistakes, right? When they deported Kilmer Abrego Garcia, it would have been so easy, right? It would have been so easy for them to go, we made a mistake. We made a mistake. It's on us. We deported him. He shouldn't have been deported. We'll bring him back. No big deal. Right? But they couldn't do that. Right? They couldn't do that because they are not allowed to admit mistakes. Right? When Alex Pretty was killed, right? When Alex Pretty was killed, we all saw it on video. We all watched it happen. We watched it happen, and then Kristi Noem got on mic right after that and told us exactly what we saw happen, and then told us like that's not true. Called him a domestic terrorist, said he was going out to commit mass violence, right? They literally we watched it happen. That's where they're making the mistake. And I don't think that Donald Trump and his administration have learned their lesson, because we're going to get to why I think she was actually fired in a second. But I do want to go back on that last part just a bit.
President recognized that you weren't getting it done in Minneapolis, and you're putting us further away from pointing to this. We're beginning to get the American people to think that deporting people is wrong. It's the exact opposite. The way you're going about deporting them is wrong. The fact that you can't admit to a mistake, which looks like under investigation, is going to prove that Miss Good and Mr. Pretty probably should not have been shot in the face and in the back. Law enforcement needs to learn from that. You don't protect them by not looking after the facts. Not only should the FBI be investigating it, but every single law enforcement agency in that jurisdiction should be invited to it. So our law enforcement officers do not have this pall cast upon them. One of the reasons why ICE officers are having threats, and damn the people that threaten ICE officers, because so many of them are doing a good job, is because you've cast a pall on them by acting like we should investigate things differently.
Pause there. He's 100% right again. Okay. And again, he said earlier stuff in this video that I didn't agree with. Okay. But this, he's 100% right. Right. Let's go back and repeat that one real quick.
People that threaten ICE officers, because some enforcement agency in that jurisdiction should be invited to it. So our law enforcement officers do not have this pall cast upon them. One of the reasons why ICE officers are having threats, and damn the people that threaten ICE officers, because so many of them are doing a good job, is because you've cast a pall on them by acting like we should investigate things differently.
And this goes back to the masking, right? And people being like, oh, we have to, like, they have to be wearing masks, right? Well, why do they have to be wearing masks? Well, they have to be wearing masks because people are threatening them. And then we don't, like, no one ever goes further than that, right? No one ever gets to the part where they say, well, why are they being threatened? Oh, they're being threatened, okay, because they're they're outside doing illegal actions, harming people, and instead of y'all holding those people accountable for the actions that they're doing, you're instead pretending like it doesn't happen. So then the people feel like it's necessary to hold ICE accountable themselves because the federal government refuses to. Okay? They now feel like they have to hold ICE officers accountable to the law because the federal government's not going to, because Kristi Noem's not going to, because Donald Trump's not going to. None of these people are going to hold them accountable. So what other choice do the citizens have? Maybe, okay, maybe if you were, actually following the law, maybe if you were actually holding ICE agents accountable when they do things wrong, maybe if you were actually training them on what the actual law is before you send them out there, then we wouldn't end up in a situation where they needed to be masked to begin with, or at least the perception that they needed to be masked to begin with, okay? It is literally a problem of their own creation, and they're complaining about it. Let's continue.
Officer-involved shootings have a formula that we should go through every time. And we're not going through that formula. As a matter of fact, in Ms. Good's case, I think that they were even saying that maybe there wasn't even a need to do it in the DOJ. I hope that that's changed. But I'm telling you, it was a civil rights review. I saw your frown. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But originally, Blanche said there wouldn't be an investigation. Folks, law enforcement, we've got to have their back. We've got to make it clear when they make a mistake, then they get corrected for it. But you don't walk away from it, and you've done it too many times. Now, Secretary,
we could go into other law enforcement and other mistakes that law enforcement has made. But if you go and look back at most of the problems that we have with law enforcement with our history, I mean, all the way back to like the LA riots in the 90s, George Floyd, any of these things, it all comes back to the police not being held accountable, to the police not being held to the same standard as every other American citizen, as if they have some type of just immunity to do whatever they want because they have a badge. And it's just simply not true. Police becomes more valuable within communities when they're held accountable for the things that they do. All right.
I read your book last week. And honestly, some of the parts of it impressed me, but some of it distresses me. And I'll give you a good example of one that does. The passage where you talk about killing a dog that was 14 months old. I trained.
Sorry, I forgot this part is coming up, but this part is like so much. This is the best part of the whole video by far, so I don't want anybody to miss it. This part is great.
Some of it distresses me. And I'll give you a good example of one that does. The passage where you talk about killing a dog that was 14 months old. I train dogs, all right? And you are a farmer. You should know better. You should know that if you're going out to a hunting lodge and you're putting pheasants out and you're putting dogs out, you don't take a puppy out there. A 14-month-old dog is basically a teenager in dog years. You decided to kill that dog because you had not invested the appropriate time in training, and then you have the audacity to go into a book and say it's a leadership lesson about tough choices. It's in your book. We could play it if we had time. At that same lunch hour, you killed a goat. And you killed the goat because you said it was behaving badly. You are a farmer. You don't castrate a goat, they behave badly. You should have probably done that before, but my point is...
I just want to pause there and say this too. She held puppies and goats more accountable than she holds ICE, right? She literally holds puppies and goats to a standard of accountability, right? But when it comes to her own ICE agents or her own CBP agents, apparently they all get a pass. If a puppy doesn't do what it's supposed to, she thinks that committing violence against the puppy is the only correct action and a great example of leadership. But if ICE agents or CBP agents are, shooting American citizens, then there's no accountability, right? Then there's nothing. They just get a free pass. There's no accountability in the law. We should lie about them and let them go, right?
Those are bad decisions made in the heat of the moment, not unlike what happened up in Minneapolis. We're an exceptional nation. And one of the reasons we're exceptional is we expect exceptional leadership. And you've demonstrated anything but that in the time that I've seen you responding to the emergency in North Carolina and across the Southeast, and acknowledging when mistakes are made, and speaking too soon for the expedient of social media or whatever it is. I'll leave you with this, Ms. Noem. I'm expecting answers to Charlotte's Web. I requested it a month ago. That was one of the investigations in Charlotte, 20 minutes from where I live. All I asked for, if it had to be anonymized, was information so that I could determine if your hit rate is right. I want to find more of those people, and I want to detain fewer of the others. And Mr. Chair, in my remaining time, I have a lot to go. But I want to submit this letter from the Office of Inspector General that cites 10 different instances under Ms. Noem's leadership where they've been misled and not allowed to pursue investigations that they think are critically important. Does anybody have any idea how bad it has to be for the OIG in this agency to come out and do this publicly? That is stonewalling, that's a failure of leadership, and that is why I've called for your resignation. And if I don't get an answer to these questions, I don't want an applause. Please don't do that for me. If I don't get an answer to these questions, if I don't get an answer that you've had a month to respond to, and the remaining ones, as of today, I'll be informing leadership that I'm putting a hold on any en-bloc nominations until I get a response. And in 2 weeks, if I don't get a response, I'm going to deny quorum and markup in as many committees as I can until I get a response. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Man, wouldn't that have been nice? Maybe when she was getting confirmed, maybe when we had all these hearings. All right. Look, I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to make some huge thing and say, oh, it somehow takes away from what he said. It doesn't. Okay. What he says is very important. What he says is awesome. I'm just saying, man, like at a certain point, it was like, well, this is kind of on y'all, right? This is kind of on the Republicans in the Senate, right? To hold somebody accountable prior to now, right? And just having absolutely no willingness to. And it's very, very sad. But anyhow, we're gonna move on. How's my volume, guys? I'm hearing some people still talking about the volume. I'm trying to crank it up a little bit, but I'm having a hard time over here. So it took me a while to get Ari's volume correct. So, and I'm still working off the same stuff over here. So volume is fine over there. Awesome. You guys hear me fine over there. I cranked it up a little bit, but I would like to get it a little bit louder. See how you guys are doing over there too on the other side. The volume is better now. Okay, good. I cranked it up a little bit. I got to go down and look at what Ari's volume looks like, because I fixed hers and now I don't have my own. Oh, that's actually funny. But anyways, all right. Volume is good there. How's everybody enjoying the show so far? Is everybody having a good time? Everybody having fun? Guys, I'm trying to put out a podcast starting sometime next month. And so this is some really good practice for me, okay? This is some really good practice for me on recording my first podcast. So that's why we're doing this. To kind of let me practice a little bit and see how I like to do it. But I'm enjoying myself so far. Right? I'm enjoying it myself so far. We're going to continue on with a little bit more Christy Gnome. Tatted Tech asks what software I'm using. I'm using Voice Meter. So, cool. All right. Well, y'all, please make sure that you guys hit that follow button. You guys hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you guys would like to support the live, I still have all the normal things that I always have support. Super chats, super stickers, all that fun stuff, memberships, live gift goal. I threw the meteor shower out there in the live gift goal because I think that's one of the ones I needed for the gift gallery. I will not be bringing up guests today that aren't friendlies. So at the end of the little podcast thing, I will do some friendlies. I mean, if I get a good conversation going, if someone calls in and actually wants to be a legit, a legit caller, then I'll have it. But I've gone like 3 days without having like an actual legit debate. So, or at least it feels that way. So, I feel like I've gone so many days without having a legit debate. It's just, kind of annoying after a while. You know what I'm saying? Kind of annoying. But anyways, Tara, thank you so much for the meteor shower. I really, really appreciate that so much. Big W's in the chat for Tara. That is absolutely huge. Thank you so much, Tara. That's a big one. I wasn't sure if I was going to get that one today. But if anybody else would like to support over there on the clock app, you guys definitely can help me with my gift gallery. You can go to the top, hit the little thing. I think I got like the hand hearts, the swan, the whale diving. I have like 4 more left. So, yeah, thank you so much. Also, Pixie says spending my birthday with favorite people tonight, excluding MAGA. Thank you so much. And Scott said bombs in Beirut. Yeah, they're being they're the Middle East. We're gonna get to the Middle East before the live's over. I promise you. We're gonna get to the Middle East. Okay. And Shush said, why are we watching children fight? Because those children run our government. And How to Live, thank you so much for the gifted too. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Because children are running our government. That is why. All right, let me just reset this thing real quick, and then we will go on and move on to, well, we're actually going to stay on the same subject for a second because there's a little bit more to talk about with this one. Maybe I can reset this. It used to be so nice. It would just go in order, and now it's like just such a pain. Oh my God. I'm about to be over it already. I am about to be over it already. What a pain. No. Now. I'm literally trying to find something and it's just impossible to find. Oh, there's that. All right, I'm just giving up and doing this one. I was trying to find, oh, there it is. And then I find it, of course. All right, cool. So there is one more video and we actually want to get back to that. So Christy Gnome, funny enough, didn't even get fired for that. Did you guys know that? She actually got fired for something completely different. So there's another video. Oh, if I can find it. Oh, there it is. So this is allegedly the video. This is allegedly the video that actually got Christy Gnome fired. All right. This is allegedly the video that actually got her fired.
I believe you have a policy, Madam Secretary, that you have to approve all contracts at your department over $100 million.
No, sir. I have a policy in place that I review contracts. My deputy chiefs have the ability to review anything under $5 million. Above that, I evaluate and look at.
Okay. And you do that, I understand, to try to curb waste and abuse of taxpayer money. Is that right?
Yes, sir. In fact, it's been extremely effective. We've saved the taxpayers over $13.2 billion just by evaluating contracts, negotiating lower ones, and canceling ones that aren't necessary to do our duties.
How do you square that concern for waste, which I share, with the fact that you have spent $220 million running television advertisements that feature you prominently?
Sir, the president tasked me with getting the message out to the country and to other countries where we were seeing the invasion come from, with putting commercials out that told them that if they were in this country illegally, that they needed to leave, or we would detain them and remove them, and they'd not get the chance to come back to America the right way. That has been extremely effective.
Ask you to run these advertisements, is that right?
We had that conversation, yes, before I was put in this position and sworn in and confirmed, and since then as well.
Okay. Did you bid out those?
Okay, let's stop there. Okay. She said that Donald Trump approved all of those ads, right? So what happened was Senator Kennedy apparently went to Trump afterwards and was like, so you approve these? And he was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I didn't do any of this. See, it's not very smart, okay? Especially when being like questioned under oath, right? It's not very smart to try to throw your boss under the bus, right? If you're going to be like, you know, the one that, you know, like that did something wrong, you should probably just take the L, okay? Donald Trump doesn't care if you do stuff wrong, but Donald Trump sure as hell cares when Donald Trump looks bad, all right? That's what he cares about more than anything, all right? And he sure as hell don't want you putting his name out there on stuff that he didn't approve saying that he did. Especially when you're talking about things like spending money, right? Something that he says he cares about fraud, waste, and abuse. That's what cooked her. That's it. Not that entire Tom Tillis interview, not, the puppies, right? Not the goat, not any of that stuff. That right there. Her mentioning Donald Trump in her deposition here. That was it. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Sorry, it's just funny. Not the affair either, by the way. Not the affair. She was totally having an affair and using government dollars to fly on planes to sleep with the guy that she was having an affair with. Someone else brings up that too. I think that actually might be in here. This might be in this video. We'll check it out. Where they talk about like her affair, and her husband's like right behind her, by the way, like the whole time. Right. But anyways, we can go on with this with us.
Service contracts?
Yes, they did. They went out to a competitive bid, and career officials at the department chose who would do those advertising commercials.
And the people that you ended up picking were people who had formerly done your political work back in South Dakota. Is that right?
No, that's not correct, sir.
I think it is.
No, it's not, sir. The individuals who, I believe the careers who they chose were two different media firms. There's been conversation about their subcontractors, but we have no legal authority to look into subcontractors on work like that.
Yeah, so apparently there was a subcontractor, right? And that was their argument, was that the people that had worked on the campaign were actually subcontractors to the company that they actually hired. But funny enough, right, that company apparently only existed for 11 days before they got that bid. 11 days before they got that bid, that's when they started existing as a company, right? Oh, and it was a no bid contract, as Senator Kennedy mentioned. So they were just like, you got it. Here's your money. Have fun.
Okay. And you're saying that you're testifying that President Trump approved this ahead of time. Is that my understanding?
We had conversations about making sure that we were telling people.
No, ma'am. I'm asking you, sorry to interrupt, but the president approved ahead of time you spending $220 million running TV ads across the country in which you are featured prominently.
Yes, sir. We went through the legal processes, did it correctly.
Did the president know you were going to do this?
Yes.
That's it. That's the spot right there that got her. That's the spot that got her. Saying that the president approved of the commercials, of the money, when he didn't. Trump never approved that. And Trump was furious when he heard that she said that. All right? Because he wasn't approving any of this stuff. She was just doing it. All right? Don't make Donald Trump look bad. That's your only job. If you work in Donald Trump's administration, you don't have to be competent, okay? You don't need to have a clue of what you're doing. Not a clue, all right? But you do have to be loyal, and you have to not make him look bad. You can look bad the whole time as long as you're loyal. Totally okay, all right? But the second you start making Donald Trump look bad, throwing your boss under the bus, okay? The second that you do that, you don't stand a chance, okay? That's what got her fired. That's what got her fired. And yes, she does have a new job. I believe she's what's it called? I forgot the name. Special envoy to the something of Americas. I don't exactly remember. It was special envoy to, oh my God, I'll have to look it up. I'll have to look it up. Americas of the Shields of America. That's why you type in Kristi Noem, and the first thing it said is Kristi Noem's new job. What we know about, oh, this should be good. What we know about Kristi Noem's new Shield of America's role. What we know about Kristi Noem's new Shield of America's role. Oop. There we go. What we know about Kristi Noem's new Shield of America's role. President Trump said Thursday the Department of Homeland Security Kristi Noem would leave her role and be appointed as special envoy for the Shields of the Americas, bringing her tumultuous tenure atop DHS to an end. Noem faced scrutiny and intense questioning about the fatal shooting of 2 American citizens. Yep. What is Shields of America? What is Shield of the Americas? The regional coalition of countries in Latin America will work together on ideology and policy initiatives that help secure the Western Hemisphere, according to the White House. Let me be very clear. This shit don't exist, okay? It doesn't exist, okay? This isn't real, okay? I guess we're just using our made up names now. Okay. I don't know how, this became a movie. All right. I don't know how, I don't know how we got here. Okay. I don't know how we got here. Maybe they're going to make this at some point. Okay. And I'm sure whatever her position is, like, I'm assuming that this means they found a closet for her to sit in someplace. Okay. I assume she knows where all the bodies are buried, and they don't want her out there saying like all the things that she knows. So they're like, okay, we're going to keep paying you. All right. We're going to keep paying you just forever on this in this land of make believe. Okay. So that you're not out there talking to people. Okay. Maybe they learn their lesson with Marjorie Taylor Greene. They're like, we can't let them go. They go out there and they just start talking. Okay. So we got to keep them a little more under control, pay them off a little bit. Like this, I'm pretty sure this is like when the mob would have like someone on the books, you know what I'm saying, that didn't work there. Didn't the mob used to do that? They'd be on books at like legitimate companies, right? In order to receive like payoffs for different things. That's what this is, I'm pretty sure. All right. I'm pretty sure that's what this is this is just a mob tactic to keep her on the books, right? In order to keep paying her and to keep her mouth shut. So just my guess. I could be completely wrong. Okay. I could be completely wrong, but that's what it sounds like to me. Okay. I've watched enough mob movies and I've watched enough, stuff like that. I watched enough of that to know what this sounds like. Okay. So I'm just going to leave that there. By the way, have you guys ever seen, like, she was talking about the ads. Have you guys ever seen these ads? Have you guys ever seen these ads? I'm going to show you what $220 million in ads, right? I'm going to show you what $220 million in ads gets you.
I'm Gnome, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump.
Sorry, I forgot to put it on the screen. Let's try that again. My bad. This is what $220 million buys you.
I'm Gnome, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump, for securing our border, for deporting criminal illegal immigrants, and for putting America first. President Trump has a clear message for those that are in our country illegally. Leave now. If you don't, we will find you, and we will deport you. You will never return. For too long, weak politicians.
You're the ones telling me that they don't speak English. You're the ones telling me that they don't speak English. So why are you talking to them in English on a commercial? Everybody's always they don't assimilate. They don't learn our language, right? They don't speak any English, right? But then you tell them to leave in English. Okay. You know what else vibe this thing gives off? This completely gives off the Pam Bondi interview. Like, have you thanked Donald Trump today? Have you thanked Donald Trump today? Okay. The Dow. Look at the Dow. All right. Every day you thank Donald Trump and then you look at the Dow, okay? Every day.
Left our borders wide open. They flooded our communities with drugs, human trafficking, and violent criminals. They put American lives at risk. Well, those days are over. If you leave now, you may have an opportunity to return and enjoy our freedom and live the American dream. But understand this. Under President Trump, America's borders are closed to lawbreakers. Follow the law, and you'll find opportunity. Break it, and you'll find consequences. The choice is yours. America welcomes those who respect our laws, because a strong nation is a safe nation.
Without objection.
Thank you, Madam President.
Plus, every time I hear, like, I see her face, right? I just can't, every time I see her face, I can only think, hold on, let me put her face back on the screen. Maybe I can do that first. One sec. I got to get back to the.
I'm Kristi Noem,
There she is. All right. Every time I see her face, all I can think about is South Park. Where, like, as the video goes on, her face keeps getting like droopier and like all the way down. And then like the whole group of people have to like come around and start brushing her face and start putting her makeup on it. It like lifts her face and it starts to like melt again. And she has to like put it on. Then she freaking shoots a puppy. And then she just like keeps like every time I see her face, that's all I can think of. Okay. That's all I can think of. If you haven't seen what I'm talking about, you got to catch up. Okay. All right. But it's just her face melting. Yeah. And then just like a pit crew of just people coming around, just wild. Okay. If you haven't seen what I'm talking about, I might be able to find it real quick. I might be able to find it real quick. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I'll see if I can find it real quick since I'm having fun. Give me 1 second. I'll see if I can find it. This might be it. Oh. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. If you guys haven't seen it. There it is. Here we go. Got it. Oh, it's already up. It gets me every time. It doesn't stop being funny. It doesn't stop being funny. It's just she pops out of the van and just starts. Oh, I will never, I don't care what Kristi Noem becomes like the special envoy for. I will never, ever, ever, ever not see her like that. Okay? I will never, ever, ever not see her like that. All right. I will never, ever, ever not see her like that. All right. All right. I think that's enough Kristi Noem talk for the day. That's enough Kristi Noem DHS talk for the day. We're going to move on to a different topic and keep this thing going. But if y'all could do me a favor, first of all, can we get that thing up to 100,000 likes? I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. First of all, if you guys would like to support the live, I do have super chats, super stickers, live gift goal over here. I got the whale diving, got one of those. Trying to get through that gift gallery if possible. So thank you guys so much for the support. Ooh, excuse me. 77, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate that. Scott, thank you so much for the $5. Said, picture Stephen Miller as the new leader of Iran wearing a felt cola nomadic hat. Steve Miller's too white for that. He's gonna burn. He's gonna burn or have a heart attack because he's not around enough white people. Probably the latter. Probably the latter. Scott said, I forgot to mention Steve's bathrobe. Oh, so we got Steve bathrobe and the hat? Good. Perfect. Thank you for the visualization. I'm not putting that last one up there, Scott. Thank you, Scott. I'm not putting that last one up there. Okay. That one's that one's gonna have to stay where it's at. All right. That one's gonna have to stay where it's at. But thank you so much, Scott. And I appreciate the support. You guys are, like I said, y'all, again, I love doing this format. It's super fun. I really appreciate you guys, especially if you guys are over on the YouTube side. Please help support this live. Make sure you guys are chatting in the chat box. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button because it's a new format. So they have to, it has to decide it likes it or not. Okay. So your guys' support, your guys' likes, your guys' gifting, your guys' comments, all that sort of stuff shows the algorithm, hey, this is something I want to keep watching and something I like. And so it means a lot to me if you guys would please help support and keep the thing going. So I really, really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. All right. What subject do we go on to next? I think I'm going to finish with a little Iran talk. All right. I'm going to finish with a little Iran talk. But that was the long subject. I wanted to get some good content out about that one. So I want to talk a little bit more about James Tallarico. All right. And I want to talk a little bit more about Jasmine Crockett, and I want to talk about all of that fun stuff. Right. I want to talk about all that fun stuff. Okay. I was talking about this a little last night, and I'm gonna kind of repeat it, not for to beat a dead horse or anything like that. Okay, I'm just gonna talk about it one more time in case anybody missed it. Okay, I love Jasmine Crockett. I think she's awesome. Okay, I think she's absolutely amazing. All right, when I watch her on the Senate floor, when I watch her on the House floor. All right. Absolutely wrecking people. Right. Like, I don't think I'll ever forget, was it bleach blonde, bad built butch body? I'll never forget that. I laughed so insanely hard. Right. When I saw that. Okay. Absolutely amazing. James Tallarico did an amazing job in his campaign. James Tallarico is going to be a better chance to take out Kim Paxton or Cornyn. It just is what it is. Okay. And I'm going to tell you even one more thing. Okay. It does have a little bit to do with race. Okay. It does have to do with race. I'm not saying that racism doesn't exist. It does. 100%. Is it partially sexist? Yes, of course it is. It's Texas. Okay. It's a little misogynistic and it's a little racist. Okay. And I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm not saying it doesn't. But I'm going to say this, and this is going to be a little controversial and people aren't going to like to hear this, and that's okay. All right. If they were both white men, James Tallarico still beats her. If they were both white men, James Tallarico still beats her. Okay? If they were both black women, James Tallarico still beats her. It's just the truth. Okay? The way he ran his campaign, okay, is just going to connect with Texas voters better. Okay? This incredible religious aspect and the way he uses Christianity as the crux in order to change things that are incredibly like left-leaning, all right, that are progressive, okay, and find a way to turn that to teach it to you like he's a Sunday school teacher, okay, even I was impressed with it. Okay. I told another creator just the other day, I told him, every time I hear James Tallarico talk, my religious trauma comes back. Every single time. He sounds like every single person at my small Baptist church that I grew up in. Okay. And to me, I don't like that. To people in Texas, the super religious Texas, they like that. It's what they like. It's what they've based their whole thing around. Okay. You know, it's God, family, Texas, right? In that order. They're going to eat this shit up, okay? They are going to eat it up, okay? Regardless of how you feel about it, they are going to eat this up, right? And I promise you, I know I've heard so many people be like, oh, we're going to get Fetterman again and all that sort of stuff, right? We're going to get Fetterman again and all that sort of stuff. Maybe. Okay. That's not worse than getting Ken Paxton. Paxton. That's not worse than getting Ken Paxton. It's not worse. Even if that's the case, it's not worse. It's still, him being Fetterman is better than us getting Ken Paxton. It is. Okay. And Jasmine Crockett, how old is Jasmine Crockett? She can't be that old. All right. She can't be that old. I don't know how old she is, but she can't be that old. Okay. 44. Perfect. Okay. She's gonna be fine. Okay. She's gonna be great. All right. This is not the only position within our government. All right. It's not the only position in our government. It's not. Okay. If you want me to be completely honest with you, right? And I don't know if it'll work for the 2028 election. Okay. I'd rather have her run for president than Kamala Harris again. All right. I'd much rather have her run for president than Kamala Harris again. Not even a question. All right. I'd rather have her be the VP than Kamala Harris be the VP. Not even a question. Okay. But to a certain point, y'all, like, and I'm just being honest, we can understand, all right? We can understand that racism, that misogyny, right? That they exist within our system, and also understand, okay, that not every single time someone that's black and a woman loses a race, it's because of only that. All right. There are a lot of other factors that go into it too. Okay. I'm saying it was a factor. I'm just not saying that was the only factor. Okay. Because I don't believe that it was. Right. I truly don't believe that it was. I believe that it had a lot to do with the rhetoric. I think it had a lot to do with the time and money spent on that campaign. Tallarico spent so much money on that campaign. So much. He had so many donors. All right. I think he ran a really good campaign and it fits what he was running for. All right. Let's also remember, I'm pretty sure Ted Cruz is up for election in 2 years. Let's not forget that. She's gotten like a whole thing. And let's be completely honest with you. Like, nobody likes Ted Cruz. Nobody, Texans don't even like Ted Cruz, right? You want a Senate spot. That's a whole thing. Okay. So anyways, there's two things I'm going to say right now. Okay. Oh, sorry. There's one thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to give it two examples. All right. Well, hold on. Let me make sure I say this right. Okay. Every single time, pretty much every single time recently, every time I've seen a specifically white creator, right, on YouTube, on whatever platform, right? Every time I hear a white creator, there's two things that I feel like they have to say prior to their statement every single time. And I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of it. All right. Every single time that they talk about this race, so they talk about Jasmine Crockett, or they talk about James Tallarico, they all have to start the conversation explaining how they're not racist first. They have to explain it every single time. It's, well, yes, I understand racism. I understand this. I understand that. I understand all of this. But, and then they can go into a whole bunch of the other reasons why they think Tallarico was a good fit. The second one that I'm tired of hearing is the Ayatollah is definitely bad, and they committed human rights violations that are horrible against the world, and nobody's sad that he's gone. But this is an illegal war, but it was not planned out correctly, but yada, 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 all the way down, right? You don't need to justify everything, okay? You don't need to justify everything, okay? You can be a fan of Tallarico, all right? And be a fan of Tallarico, all right? And not have to justify how you're not racist before you're a fan of Tallarico. You don't have to do it, okay? You can talk about how bad the war in Iran is and how it can destabilize the whole region and how it's not America first. You can do that without completely explaining how much you hate the Ayatollah first. You can do it, okay? It's okay, all right? Nobody thought the Ayatollah was good. Nobody thought that, okay? Nobody. Right? There's no secret group out there going like, oh, if you don't like the war, then we think that you were a big fan of the previous regime. It doesn't exist. Okay? There's no pre-qualification necessary. All right? It's not necessary. You can just like James Tallarico, right? You don't have to prove to me that you're not racist first. You can just like him. It's okay. All right? So I don't know if people just need a permission structure, or people just need, I don't know what it is, okay? But it's rhetoric like that, right? From the Democrats, from the left, which is why people always, and I'm just talking about like average independent voters in the United States, why so many average independent voters in the United States think that the Democratic Party is a bunch of cowards, okay? That they're just scared all the time. Oh, we can't offend this small group, or we can't offend that small group, or we have to make sure that we qualify that everybody is included in this conversation before we state our opinions. Just state your opinions, okay? If you're a good creator out there, okay, then everyone should already know where you stand before you make the comments. You don't need to qualify it, all right? If you're a big leftist creator out there, okay, or a small leftist creator out there, you don't have to be big or small, all right? If you're on the left in any facet and you create content and people are going to question whether you're racist or not before supporting James Tallarico, okay, then just thought I'd let you know that just means people think you're a racist. Okay? If people think might think you're a misogynist for supporting James Tallarico, then shut down your platform, okay? Because people already think that bad stuff about you. If you're running your left side of the Overton window, right, content, and you need to justify every 3 seconds that the Ayatollah was bad before talking about this war, then I don't know what to tell you. Shut down your platform. Seriously. Because if you think that people might think that about you, all right, then you're already lost. Stop being a coward, okay? Just say what you feel, okay? Just say what you feel. It's okay, all right? If you needed permission, I give it to you, all right? And guess what? If anybody else was like, oh, he didn't mention that he wasn't racist before saying he likes Tallarico, then just get rid of that person. They don't need to exist, okay? Then they don't need to exist, all right? You can just go on, out the door, have a good one. I'm so sick of it, dude. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of it. The amount of creators that I have heard over the last couple days say oh, well, let's talk about let's just talk about all the race and all the misogyny, all that sort of stuff. You know what I don't hear anyone talking about? And this, just straight up, it's so crazy. I have heard so many creators out there, so many, talking about how the reason why Jasmine Crockett lost is because she's black and a woman, and not a single one of them have ever told me one fucking thing about her policy. Not one thing. Not a single thing. Everybody out there who is talking about that Jasmine Crockett lost because she's black and a woman, they haven't told me one singular thing about why her policy was better. Not a singular thing. What? It's because they don't know it. It's because they don't know it. It's because they don't know it. They saw she was black and a woman, and they just went, yep, that's the reason. No interest in looking into what her policies were, how it helped Texans, how it made Texas better. Maybe why Texans would have liked her policy over James Tallarico. Not a single one. Okay? They can't tell me a single one. Okay? Just saying. Okay? Just saying. All right? If you're claiming that Jasmine Crockett lost because she's black and a woman and you can't tell me a singular one of her policies, then you don't know why she lost. Okay? Then you don't know why she lost. All right? Sorry, you don't. All right? Then you don't. So, anyways, all that to say, like I said before, I actually really like Jasmine Crockett. I wish her the best. I hope she's actually future in politics. Hell, I'll fucking help work on her campaign. I think she's awesome. All right? Truthfully, I'll help work on her campaign. I think she's great. All right. I think she's awesome. But anyways, sorry. That was just me venting for a bit. All right. Maybe it just wasn't, maybe I've just been hearing too many of the bad creators. Maybe there are good creators out there that actually, that are actually legit, but like literally 95% of what I've said, of what I've heard, 95% of what I heard was exactly what I'm mentioning. All right. 95%. All right. So, by the way, she did have some very good policy. Just thought I'd throw that out there. She had a very good policy agenda, right? She had a very good policy job. It wasn't bad. Uh-oh. So, but anyway, I'm just saying a lot of people don't know it. Oh my goodness. So, anyway, speaking of James Tallarico, did you guys look up that video that I had yesterday? I told you guys to look up yesterday. I bet you guys didn't. I don't even know if I looked it up. I meant to have it here for you guys. No, that wasn't Summer. That wasn't Summer. All right. Yeah, exactly. She'll still be in the house. All right. And she'll still have plenty of chances to run if she doesn't get reelected, which she probably will. Okay. I have no reason why she wouldn't get reelected. It's not like she's disappearing into the ether. That's another thing too. That's another thing too. Like I don't get that one either. That's another thing I don't get too. Like people like, anyways, sorry. As you can tell, I've been very annoyed by those two things. I've been very annoyed by those two things. The having to explain race every single time I hear anyone talk about that, or having to explain why you don't like the Ayatollah every single time you talk about this Iran thing. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. Okay? It's so on the race thing though. Sorry. I do want to mention one more thing about the race thing. Okay? I do want to mention one more thing about the race thing. And this is an important thing about the race thing, okay? This is actually really important, all right? It's March now, right? Okay. So approximately 16 months ago, a black woman who was overqualified, okay, who was overqualified to become president, lost to a bumbling dementia patient who was a felon, okay, who literally tried to steal an election in the United States. Okay? That happened 16 months ago. Okay? Not 16 years ago, 16 months ago. Okay? An overqualified black woman lost to a bumbling dementia patient, all right, who was a 34 times felon who tried to steal an election in this country. All right. And then all of a sudden, all right, people are seemingly surprised when a black woman can't win a Democratic primary in Texas against a guy who's actually competent. I don't know where the surprise is. I don't get it. Why are you surprised? Okay? Like you can have whatever feelings you want about Tallarico. Whatever feelings you want, okay? Truthfully, whatever feelings you want. I don't care. Okay? He is infinitely better than Trump. Okay? I don't know how to put a percentage on how much better he is than Trump. Okay? And a black woman in the United States couldn't beat Trump. So like I don't get the surprise. I just don't get it. And I'm hearing people like, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe she didn't win, or oh my God, it was rigged, or no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. If Kamala Harris couldn't beat Donald Trump in an election, okay, then I don't know why the heck you thought that James Tallarico, okay, was like that was gonna be the person that went down. I just don't see it. He is so much better than Trump. Okay? He is so much better than Trump. All right. like so much better. All right. So, but it's okay to recognize that too, right? It's okay to recognize that. Like I said, I know I went off on a little tangent talking about the race thing, and that's totally fine. All right. I know I went off on a little tangent on it because it's been annoying me lately. But again, that doesn't mean that it's wrong to talk about the race, right? It's totally okay to talk about race and misogyny as an issue. All right. One that I think that we totally should have, right? The part that I was upset about is having to qualify everything you said in order to have a conversation. That's what annoyed me. It's 100% okay to have those conversations about race, about gender in this country, just not when you have to qualify everything you say before you say it. Right? So, make sense? All right, now you guys can go get me canceled, okay? now you guys can go get me canceled, all right? Now you guys can go get me canceled. I've said so much worse. You're not getting me canceled. Just thought I've said so much worse on here. Like, what are you talking about?
It's insane.
Dude, now I'm ready to be canceled, guys. No, you guys know I love you guys. You guys know I love you guys. Cool. Let's do one more little topic that I want to talk about, and then I will open it up for questions for anybody, and we'll go through some questions. We'll do some Q&A. Hell, I'll open up the phone lines if we need to, and you guys can call in and ask questions if you want, or you can put them in the chat, and we'll do a little question time. Sound good? Sound good? It's also getting kind of cold in here. Oh my goodness. Sorry, it's actually getting kind of chilly in my office for the first time like ever. It's never cold in my office. Ogden, thank you so much for the $10. The $10 message over there said, you were on fire tonight, Polly. I really enjoyed your live tonight. We need more of this. Thanks, bro. Thank you so much for supporting. I really do appreciate that. That is very sweet of you, Ogden. And Delissa, oh my goodness. Holy Jesus. You actually made me go religious for a second. Goodness gracious. I went back.
It's insane.
To being a child for a second. Oh my goodness. Delissa, thank you so much for the $400 super chat. Holy, absolutely holy shit. Can I get the biggest W's? The biggest of all big W's for Delissa in the chat right now. Holy shit. Okay. Thank you so much. This is so just absolutely amazing and sweet. I appreciate this more than you know. Thank you so much. Okay. Says, oh my God, Polly, thank you. I have been waiting for someone to finally say this shit out loud. Facts, black and female and female and educated means nothing to the US. It doesn't, okay? We're not there yet. Okay? There's nothing wrong with admitting that. All right? We're not there. Okay? All right. As old as this country is, okay, not saying we're the oldest country, we're not Italy or something, right? We have still not had a woman president, not even a white woman. Okay. We've had 0 women presidents. Okay. We've had 1 black guy. Okay. And they did everything in his power to destroy him for that. Okay. So it's okay, right? It's okay to understand maybe just the US isn't ready yet. Okay. Maybe just the USA isn't ready yet, you know? I think that we want the USA to be ready for it, and it's not. Okay? We want it to be ready, but it's not, right? Like, let's not forget, all right? Let's not forget, like, Donald Trump is a direct rebound to having a black president. Okay? The reason why Donald Trump won is because we had a black president, and that was white supremacy snapping back in place. It was an overcorrection, right? It was an overcorrection to Obama. Why do you think that Donald Trump does everything in his power to destroy everything that Obama touched? Okay. Why do you think that he is constantly in comparison to Obama? Right? He's not comparing himself to and destroying stuff from Biden, from Bush, from Reagan. He's not trying to outdo any of them. He's only trying to outdo Obama all the time. Okay? Because the United States is still in a spot, all right, where sorry, I kind of got off thought right there, but because I don't want to lose this thought, so I'm going to recorrect what I was saying. Okay. When you understand racism, right? When you actually understand it, right? What it does is it teaches people that are worthless how they can be better than someone, right? It tells a poor white man, right, that has nothing, has no future, right, has no education, has no, has no career, that has none of those things, right? And it tells them, at least you're still better than all of those black people, right? Obama hurt them on that, right? Obama broke a part of that seal. And I hear all the time, Obama didn't do anything for black people. Obama didn't do anything for black people. I hear that all the time. Okay. Especially from black creators. I hear that quite a bit, right? Obama broke that, right? It was where at a certain point, right, there was an amount of white people in this country who could no longer say that they were better than all the black guys because one became president. All right. Donald Trump has a long history of racism. Okay. His dad was a huge racist. Okay. And now the one president that he can't beat is a black guy, and he can't fucking handle that. All right. He can't fucking handle it. All right. It drives him nuts that he will never win a Nobel Peace Prize. He is literally, right, bombing countries and taking out other people's leaders because he got his fifis so hurt, okay, that he'll never win a Nobel Peace Prize. They had to make up a fucking peace prize to appease his little fifis. All right. And this is all because a black man became president. All right. Now we have to add in, okay, that the majority of the United States, well, I think it's still the majority, right? But the overwhelming most popular religion in the United States is Christianity. And in Christianity, right, for at least your most especially for your more strict, your Southern Baptists and stuff like that, they teach that men are over women, right? That women are to be subservient to their husbands, subservient to men, right? So now you have another reason for nobody white people, okay, to now think that they're better than someone, right? So you have, you're telling people, right? Like, hey, and again, this is not some crazy out there, this is how I was raised, right? I was raised that men are the leaders. Right? I was raised in that way by my church, right? So, and I had to break out of that, right? But deconstructing from that is not easy when it's what you're raised as, okay? So just to be clear, all right? Deconstructing from that, when that's how everything that you've been taught growing up, is not easy, okay? So now we combine those two things together, right? We combine poor white people believing that they're above all black people, right? Which is racism, right? And now you have nothing men believing that they're better than successful women, right? Due to everything, where I say religion as the main part of it, but there's other factors too, of course, right? And now you're saying that in this country that we still live in, right? In this country that we still live in, because I know that every single, black man out there has experienced racism, right? In their life, right? Like probably quite a bit more than they want. And every woman out there has experienced misogyny, and every black woman out there has experienced the worst hybrid of both of those, right? Now let's look at all of that, and now let's set our baseline. Okay? Let's look at that, and now let's set our baseline. Okay? Now let's add Texas into that. Okay? If you want me to be completely honest, based off of all those factors that I just said, right? With all those factors I just said, Fuck, she did a pretty good job to get 40-something%, dude. Am I wrong? Considering all the negatives that she had to go up against, the fact that she got 40-something%, pretty fucking good. Right? The fact that Kamala Harris only lost the popular vote of the United States by 1.5, was it 1.5 or 1.8% of the popular vote? That's pretty fucking good. You know what I'm saying? Like, take that back 25 years. Okay? Would that have even been close? Do you think it would have been that close? I don't. I don't think for a second. I don't think for a damn second it would have been that close. Right? So, anyways, I'm saying I'll just say, Delissa, you're 100% right. Okay? You are 100% right. Black, female, and highly educated, as far as from a voting standpoint, as far as a political standpoint, when it comes to people that lead our country, I'm not going to say an overwhelming majority, okay? But to enough people to where it matters, it matters, right? It doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't mean anything, right? There's a whole lot of people that matters to, okay? There's a shit ton. There's a whole bunch, okay? Again, how many votes did Kamala Harris get? 77 million? Right? There's a lot of people that it matters to. Okay? And we're going to get there. All right? We're going to get there. Let's not, we're gonna get there. Okay? All right? But I think right now we're in the spot where if you're a black woman and you know, obviously educated and all that stuff, right? If you're like that in a blue spot, I think you're doing just fine, right? If you're doing that in a purple spot, it depends on which purple spot. And if you're doing it in a red spot, good fucking luck. Truthfully. Good fucking luck. For the moment. Maybe after we flip Texas, it changes. All right. Maybe when we flip Texas, we'll change it. But. So, anyways. Again, Delissa, thank you so much. Can we get one more big W in the chat for Delissa? I figured it was perfect to stop timing and talk about all that, but that was really good. That was really good. That started a really good conversation too. I love it. Thank you again so much, Delissa. That is so sweet. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I know I'm preaching tonight. Maybe I'll go run against Tellerico. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'll go run against Tellerico and we can preach back and forth to each other. we can. I mean, I think he went to seminary, but I think I can out-preach him. Okay. Plus, I bring organ players when I start preaching usually. All right. Don't make me go get a freaking organ player. All right. I'll start a run against Vance. I don't have name recognition to run for president. Are you kidding me? I don't have name recognition for all that. Allison, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Said thanks for saying it. I appreciate that, Allison. Thank you so much. And Jeff, thank you so much for the $2. Also, I appreciate that. Hopefully I said all the things. I'm gonna start running. I'm telling you, I'm gonna keep running my mouth around this place one of these days, and I'm gonna get canceled. I'm just waiting. Can y'all just do me a favor and let me know when you cancel me? Cause like I don't want to have to like like learn it later or something like that. Just let me know. just send me a message, be like, you've been canceled, and I'll be like, okay, cool, man. Like I knew this day would come eventually, so here we are. All right, well, I was gonna go on a whole Iran thing for a second, but I actually think we might just go straight into the Q&A. So just 1 second, I'll be right back. Here, I'll leave you with this while I go. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Oh, that's too good. Oh, that's too good. Okay. All right. I don't think I want to put the phone number up. I don't think I'm going to put it up. I don't know if I'm going to take any guests. I think I might just answer your guys' questions. Okay. So I will try to get to as many as I can. If you have a super big question, you don't want me to miss it under any circumstances. Tara, thank you so much for that whale diving too. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Tara. Tara's gonna freaking clear half my freaking gift gallery by herself. Thank you so much. Oh my God, W's in the chat for Tara for that whale diving. Oh, that is absolutely huge. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you, Tara. Tara, thank you. Please be done. Okay. Someone else needs to step up over here. Okay. Someone else needs to step up. You've done your part. I've done my part. I didn't do shit. All right. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do. How long have I been on? Okay. We're gonna do 20 to 25 minutes of Q&A, just depending on how long we keep going. Zazu, thank you so much for the swan. Guys, if you guys are over there and you can see my gift gallery, there's only 2 things left. I know they're like the hardest ones, but Tara cleared out 3. Zazu just cleared out one of them also. There's only like 2 more things. So if you guys would like to support tonight, you guys have been enjoying the show, go up to my profile, hit my name, hit that gift gallery. I got like the 6 hand hearts and the 5 hearts. I know they're not the easiest ones, but if you'd like to help support, I really, really appreciate that. If you can, of course. If you can't, that's the thing too. But here's what will happen. I have 3 chats going off at the same time. Okay. I'm going to see a question. I'm going to stick on the question. We're going to go on it for a bit until I get tired of it. Then I'm going to find the next question and we're just going to go to the next one. Okay. I will answer questions. You don't have to super chat or anything or send gifts or anything in order to get your question answered. However, okay, if there's a question you're like, I have to make sure that he answers this question, the super chats will pop up and stick on my screen so I will not miss them. Okay. Also, or if you send anything to my Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal, obviously it will stay there and I'll answer your question. So those are pretty much the guaranteed ways to make sure I answer your question. However, that is not a requirement and I will just be answering questions. Does that make sense? Is that fair? Okay. I'm not requiring anyway. I'm going to try to get to as many questions as I can. But That is the way to guarantee it happens, because the super chats stick on my screen and obviously my phone goes off. So, yeah, you see it that way. But, and those would be like guaranteed. Cool. All right. Let me go over here, make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, cool. Okay, first question I see, so we're just going with it. It said, will there be midterms even though we're in a war? Yes. Contrary to popular, not popular, contrary to what the Trump administration has tried to imply and what actually happens in other countries, i.e., like I believe Israel has a certain like clause in there where like during wartime situations, there calls for suspension of certain elections. Ukraine, there you go. That's one that definitely exists, right? The United States does not have that. Actually, it's very explicit in saying that war does not stop you from having elections, nor does it give the Trump administration the ability to like, nationalize elections or send ICE to elections. It does not give them the ability to do any of that stuff, right? So, yes, we will still have midterms. Please go vote in them. That is incredibly important. Don't let ICE intimidate you if they show up.
Insane.
And yeah, that was an easy first one. Yes, we're still having elections. JEJCA, I don't know what that means, but it says, apart from staying out of jail, is this administration only about bankrupting US so billionaire class can buy USA? Also, can he cancel midterms? Okay, so I answered the midterms question already. Didn't even see that you had asked that, but we already got that one out of the way. Apart from staying out of jail, I don't know if we can start. Oh yeah. Also, someone mentioned, make sure you check your voters registration now and often. Okay. So to make sure that because they will be like trying to scrub voter rolls, especially if you live in like a red state like I do. It will definitely be out there. So make sure you're checking that. Staying out of jail was the primary reason for getting in. I don't know if it's the primary reason for staying. I will say that no, it's not just about bankrupting the United States with the billionaire class. That's just a lucky side effect. What it's about is pushing things like Christian nationalism, white nationalism in the United States. That's because people like Stephen Miller are in the White House, and that's their goal, right? So their goal is a lot different from Trump's goal. Trump's goal is to build a legacy and to make sure that, that he feeds all of his rich friends, including himself, and that he enriches himself in the process. People like Stephen Miller, people like JD Vance, they have completely other goals, which are, the like getting rid of immigrants, trying to stop, their belief in like, and like great replacement theory and stuff like that. So you have multiple competing things, right? Like Trump has his agenda. The Heritage Project, the Heritage Foundation has their own agenda. And then, so they're kind of, and then like everybody's trying to stay out of jail, which just a reminder, Trump can't pardon people from state crimes, and they're not always going to have this administration to protect him. So, cool. Hopefully that answers your question. Thank you so much. June says, Paul, you were on fire tonight. I'm proud of you, my brother. Keep up the great work. Thank you, June. Not even a question. Just a nice thing. Okay. Just a nice thing to say. I really appreciate that, June. Thank you so much. Also, Scott, again, I'm not going to put your comment up there. Scott, you were trying to get me in trouble. Okay. You're going to get me in trouble, and I'm going to end up getting canceled if I answer your super chats. So, I'm trying to survive over here, but okay. Only one, just the main one. Ryan, thank you so much. Is that the 5 hand hearts from the gift gallery? Is that all 5 of them? Oh, now it's not letting me open it. Holy shit, I am down to one more gift gallery thing. Ryan, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Ryan. That is absolutely huge. We have one more thing. Tara, Ryan, everybody who's donated today, you guys have been absolutely so sweet. Deliza, of course. You guys have been absolutely so amazing. I can't even remember what the last thing on the gift gallery is. All right, I'll find that while I answer the next question. Let's see. I don't see anything there yet. I was trying to take one over here.
It's insane.
All right, we got one from Truth. Truth says, CA? Do you mean California? California, yeah. California has been testing nuclear missiles out of Vandenberg. Do you think Trump is going to use them? If so, will China or Russia use nukes on US? Okay, so that's kind of like a two-part question. Before I answer it, Shay and Tolly both cleared out the hand hearts on the gift gallery. Holy shit, that is absolutely amazing. I told Ari before this week started, because they made my gift gallery harder. I was like, there is no way I am going to hit this. It is impossible. All right. And I somehow hit it. You guys are absolutely amazing. Okay. Thank you guys so much for every single gifter and every single person who helped support the live today, no matter what it was. That is absolutely huge. I am just so insanely just like impressed and appreciative. It means a lot. I was really nervous about doing this. Ask Ari, I'm never nervous about getting live, but I was actually super nervous doing this live today because I wanted to make sure I got you guys good information and good fun stuff and had really good conversation, even if we weren't having guests. And so I just really appreciate all the support and all the love. It has been absolutely huge. You have no idea how much that means to me. Cause I told Ari, like literally before I got on live, I was like, I don't think I'll last an hour on this live. I was like, I don't think I'll last. She's probably downstairs like, what a liar. Cause I've been on for like 2 hours and 15 minutes. But I was like, there's no way I'll last an hour on this live. Cause I was so nervous about whether I'd be able to just like keep talking and do this type of format. So thank you so much for the support. It is so absolutely just jaw-dropping and just heartfelt. it is just absolutely so amazing. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate everyone. I don't want you guys to think that I'm just like taking this like in stride. I'm not. It really, really, really means the world to me. So thank you so much. All right. So I'm going to answer this question before I get too far. Okay. Truth, back to you. All right. Theory of mutual destruction. Christine, thank you so much for the Viking hammer. Thank you so much. Theory of mutual destruction, all right, states that the reason why you won't use nuclear weapons is because everyone else will use nuclear weapons. So it's kind of a two-part answer, all right? One, we are most likely testing nuclear missiles with nuclear capabilities just as a precaution. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Okay. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Okay. I think in this case, it's literally one of those things where it's just better to know that they work than to worry about it. They're probably also using it as a scare tactic because let's also remember that like our nuclear weapons are in other spots, right? They're in like Montana and Wyoming and, you know, they're all in places up there, right? So if you knew about it, okay, and let's just put it this way, if you know about it, like if it's like publicly available knowledge where you can know that it's happening, it's because they want you to know. You know what I'm saying? And if they want you to know, it's probably because they just want everybody else to know, right? Just more of a show of force than anything. So I wouldn't worry about that. I do not think Trump would use them. Okay. I do not. All right. And even if Trump would, I don't think that the people that would actually be required in order to do that would do them. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay. But yes, to finish off the question, yes, I do believe if we were to use them, the second that one person, it doesn't matter who it is, shoots one off, whether it's us, China, Russia, whatever, everybody's shooting all of theirs off. Okay? They're all just It's just gonna be one big, you know, we go into War Z or whatever, you know, post-apocalyptic zombie land, whoever's left, that sort of stuff. So yeah. So A, I wouldn't worry about the testing. 2, I don't think Trump is going to use them. 3, if he did use them, yes, I think everybody else would use them. Cool. I think I nailed that. Did I nail that? I feel like I nailed that one. Christine, thank you so much for the Viking hammer. And Zazu, thank you so much for the super live star. I've literally never seen those 2 gifts before. So y'all are throwing out shit I've never even seen before. So it is crazy stuff. So thank you guys so much. Douglas said, thoughts on Gnome's replacement, Mark Wayne Mullen. Okay. Douglas, since you are on YouTube, well, first I'll answer this quickly. He might actually be worse. Second of all, please, when we end this live, which I'll probably do in about 15 minutes, please go find this live and rewatch it, because I literally did like an hour just on this tonight. I literally did. I literally did just an hour just on this tonight. All right. Like, so I literally talked so much about it with video evidence and everything else. So I think he's actually worse, but also go watch the video from earlier when it posts, and you'll get the whole thing. All right. Shush, thank you so much for the gifted membership. I appreciate that. Jay said, my name is Jeff. I'm 66 years old from Idaho. Thank you for answering me. And you and Ari are awesome separately, but phenomenal together. Love Summer. Oh, of course, Summer is awesome. No, and Ari and I will be back live together on Sunday. That's when we do our lives together on Sunday. And yeah, I think we might actually go through some more like type format like this stuff too. I think we're gonna do like a little mix of debate and this type of format on Sunday. That's the idea. Trying to work some more of this stuff in. So, yep. All right. I'm out of super chat questions. I still have more question times. Thank you so much, Jeff. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Jeff. All right. Now I'll get to some questions that are not through super chats. Again, if you want to make sure I read your question, that's a great way to do it. It's through super chats or through my pay links in my bio. They're all at Polypolitics. But also I'm just gonna go like with the next question. I think that I see that I like. So, oh, I'm not even caught up on my chat over here. All right. Would I go to Iran to see what it's like? No. I'm real good. Sounds great. I appreciate it. Someone asked what sparked my interest in politics. It was actually that's actually a really good question. I can answer that one pretty quickly, so I don't want to go too far, but I'll answer it very quickly. So I went, it's kind of embarrassing oh, that's a great question. Hold on. I just want to hold this question for next. Sorry. I want to hold that question for next so I don't want to lose it. So I actually, I kind of got into politics in a back doorway. It was kind of weird. Like, because my family was not very political actually at all. Like they weren't really in that. I went to school, right, for a degree because I was actually seeking a job, right? But I didn't know anything about degrees or anything, right? So I ended up going to a school that wasn't like the best accreditation. It wasn't the best school. And so I didn't do well in it either, by the way. I didn't really pay that much attention. I was working full time. I graduated though, and then I was like, after that, I really wanted to get like a graduate degree because I was like, I don't want anyone ever look at this bachelor's degree. And the most one that actually closely related to that was actually me ended up going to school for international relations. And when I actually started like studying in international relations, I realized I was like, oh, this is exactly what I love. I love international politics. I love the way countries move like that way. And then I kind of backdoored my way into political science that way and kind of came back in. It's kind of strange. It's kind of strange the way the path I took. It wasn't a very traditional. I wasn't like a teenager that was like super motivated by politics or, you know, like one that like came up in a very political home or an activist home. It was just kind of, I found my calling in life a little later in life. And this is what it was. So yeah, it didn't really start until I was in my 30s. And I'll be 40 this year. So holy shit. So yeah, that was the quick and easy answer. It's quick and easy answer. Buster said, did you see the US Marine get kicked out of Senate and his arm broken? Right? Which happened also. And that was absolutely the most disgusting fucking thing I have ever seen in my entire fucking life. I couldn't watch it more than once. I watched it once and I was like, I can't watch this again. Like watching them drag him out, a man who fought for your rights, fought for the rights of American citizens, fought for the rights for Americans to use their First Amendment, right? Who fought for those rights, being denied his First Amendment rights violently by a bunch of fucking punks, okay? By a bunch of fucking pieces of shit that never fucking did shit for anybody fucking else, who never wore that fucking uniform ever. Fuck them. I hope every single one of them stubs their toe for the rest of their life. And I hope he sues the living shit out of every single one of them. And then I hope they fucking go to jail for fucking breaking his fucking arm. Fuck every single one of those motherfuckers. Fuck whoever called him out. Fuck those guys who fucking did it. Fuck every single fucking one of them. Period. Point fucking blank. If you haven't seen the video, you should go watch it. I'm not gonna play it on here because it fucking pisses me the fuck off. It pisses me the fuck off and I can't watch it again. Okay? All right. That's why I didn't want to get rid of that comment, because I knew I was going to have a little bit of. Anyways. All right. Sorry, I'm actually still a little hot. Sorry. I'm like trying to calm down. I'm still a little hot. I'm still a little hot talking about it. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, I do a real good job. Right? I do a real good job of like I don't really get like super angry on these things. Like I don't really want that, but yeah. Anyways. So anyways, cool. We'll move on. June, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Said, Polly, what can't we do now to get Orange Moron out of office? I'm gonna assume you mean what can we do? Because there's a whole bunch of things you can't do. Okay. There's like so many things you can't do. Yeah. But to be completely honest with you, what you can do, sorry, I was going to make examples of things you can't do, but I feel like that'll get me in trouble. So I'm just gonna be quiet. Things you things you can't do. Things you can do. There's not much we can do. You can vote in the midterms. You can vote in the midterms, or I don't know. I guess you could, like, I don't know. There's not much we can do. And not to even mention that, like, what are you gonna do? Kick Trump out and get Vance in? Is that really better? I mean, like, I get, like, wanting to impeach him, and, like, I'm pretty sure the Democrats are going to take the House at least, and then they're going to impeach him, and it probably won't get to, like, a supermajority, you know, within the Senate to remove him. But, like, I'll put it this way, okay? And I've made this comment about Ayatollah Khamenei, right? I made this comment about him. Like, yes, I'm very glad that he's gone, right? But also, he was like 86 years old. So it's like, what did we speed up father time by like a second? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was 80. I mean, anyways, what I'm saying is that's really jumping out of the frying pan and into the fire. You put JD Vance in there, that freaking helped write Project 2025. That's like Stephen Miller's lapdog. Dude, things get so much worse. Like, so much worse. Just being honest. So, not much you can do, and even if you could do, not sure you should do. So yeah, that's my answer. But thank you so much, June. Now, Teddy, that's a question. You and Ari head-to-head debate, who wins? That's the questions we all need to hear. Okay. And you know what the correct answer to that is? It completely depends on the subject. It completely and utterly depends on the subject. There are certain subjects where she would whoop me, right? And there's other subjects where I would whoop her. That's just. Also, guys, you guys don't see it. You have no idea, okay? Like, you must not get, like, if there's a new topic and I'm not sure how to debate it, I debate Ari on it before I get on live. Right? I find the holes in my arguments by debating Ari about it. And I don't let her know I'm debating her on it. I just bring it up and then just watch her poke holes and stuff. And then I find the holes in my argument. I'm like, oh, there it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, didn't think of that. So yeah, like, you think Ari and I haven't gone? I've just sat Ari down and just been like, all right, look, dude, like, or she'll make an argument or something, and I'll be like, all right, I'm playing contrarian against it. Like, let's argue. So these things happen, like, in our house. All right. So I'll tell you this. Okay. I'll tell you this. When it comes to, how do I put this? I'm trying to put it the right way. Right. When it comes to pure data, like pure data, pure policy, like recall, she's much better than me. She'll remember an EO number from freaking 10 years ago that she heard once. She is much better at data and policy recall. right? So that's definitely where she gets me. I can't compete with her recall. You'll see that all the time in our lives, like when I'll be debating stuff, and like I'll just be like, Ari, what was the name of that? And she'll spout it off, right? So that's what I'll say. She's much better at that stuff than I am. I will say I definitely will beat her in international politics all day, though. If we talk international politics, I will win that. She can't touch me on that one. She can't touch me on that one. That's the one I get her on every time. Let's see. See if we get another question in here. Let's see. Well, guys, we'll never know who would win because we argue the same side. You'll never know, okay? Because we argue the same side. So you guys will never find the answer to this question. All right. This is actually fine. This isn't a question, but somebody who thinks they win. So I know people that would walk all over you and you would stop live chat for a day or two because you would not know what to say because you won't be able to use your computer. Do you understand that I literally go weeks without looking up a single thing on my freaking like when debating? I will go weeks on end, dude. You have no idea what you're talking about. Okay. And if you think, all right, Wolf, if you think you can party, okay, I'll meet up anytime, any place. Make sure you invite your friends and family so you can be embarrassed in person. Okay? Make sure you invite people that love you, okay? So that you never, all right, even think for a second about ever trying that again, okay? I like, bro, I will be like right here, bro. Right here, dude. Right here.
Long hours. Pretends like he's quit the tough guy act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me. Any place, anytime, cowboy.
Hear that? You know where to find me. Any place, anytime, cowboy. Right? As said by your new Department of Homeland Security Secretary. Oh, that was fun. I didn't think I would get to reuse that. I didn't think I would get to reuse that. That's fun. That was fun. Oh. I thought I had that up just to talk about it. See, you guys don't even know what like a real debate looks like. You guys get so used to like internet debaters. You guys don't know what an actual debate looks like. You guys don't even know what it looks like. What can normal people do other than just be informed? Then what? Well, that's a great question, actually. Right? So first, you want to be informed. Informed. So let me be clear. Informed is just the start. Okay. So first, you want to be informed, right? Then you want to act on that information. Now, how much you're able to act on that information depends on you, right? So some people, that's just voting, right? Being informed and then voting. That's it. That's all you got, right? That's all you need. Be informed, then vote, right? Second thing is, Or like if you want more than that, you can do telephone banks, you can knock on doors, you can hand out flyers, find good politicians that you want to support, right? And then you support those politicians in any way that you can, right? Find your local ones, find your, you know, your local district races, your county races, all that sort of stuff, and help out, give your time. You know what I'm saying? I think that's really the best thing that you can do. Just everybody, because the more people that you have that you can that like support, you know what I'm saying? Like you can help like to help boost up politicians that actually support your positions once you're informed. And I think that that's really important. And coming into midterms this year, we're gonna need so many people to do phone lines, to do hi Brett, to do phone lines, to do call banks, to do knocking on doors, to handing out flyers, to do all of those things. So yeah. Register voters, drive people to the voting booths. There's so many opportunities. There's so many. And as we get closer, I will find some good opportunities to send out to you guys to help out if you guys are interested. I'll make sure I do that. Okay. All right, y'all. I said I was going to do like 25 minutes. I did like 32 minutes. So I'm going to jump off. I will see you guys probably not till Sunday, honestly. I probably won't see you guys again till Sunday. So when I'll be on with Ari. So hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here and supporting the little different live that we're doing. I'm going to try to do one of these at least once a week, honestly. So thank you guys so much. Really appreciate that. Hope you guys have a wonderful night. Love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for the support. All right. And you guys have a wonderful one. Okay. Bye.